Hey everyone, this is Tom Karadza here, and today we have the pleasure to speak with Aaron Pathak from the Hamilton and District Apartment Association, and we have a really important topic to discuss today. In case you're not aware, the City of Hamilton is proposing some rental property licensing. And Aaron, as the president of the Hamilton and District Apartment Association, has been doing a lot of research into it, has a lot of thoughts on it. So today we wanted to just ask him a couple questions about what's going on in Hamilton, so us as investors can kind of stay on top of this as it happens. So I guess, Aaron, thanks for coming out.
No, thank you.
We dragged you out to our office here for this. And can you, for anyone kind of watching this, can you fill them in just briefly at a high level of what is Hamilton proposing?
Yes, well, Hamilton is proposing to license rental properties. Right now they're talking about 6 units and under, but we suspect it's the thin end of the wedge, and at a later date they will increase that to larger properties. Now, a couple of other cities have done it, and Waterloo has charged a licensing fee that in some cases is over $750 for a unit. So it's not a small amount. Hamilton may have a different fee, but it's still going to be a significant cost that we believe will get passed on to the tenants, as all costs of rental properties do.
So anyone who owns a property of any sort that is a rental property in Hamilton, it looks like could be faced with a several $100 fee on their property.
That's what it looks like right now. They're bringing a proposal to the next planning committee meeting on December the 11th. We'll know the exact proposals probably about 2 weeks before that, but they definitely passed it at the previous meeting to write this bylaw and bring it forward.
And what are some of your concerns with this?
Well, basically it's totally unnecessary in our opinion. This first came up about 3 years ago, and our reaction was, you don't need to license, you have current bylaws, just enforce them and you will solve most of your problems. And because of that, they started up Project Compliance. Under Project Compliance, they went out and they inspected properties and wrote up work orders and so on. And from the sounds of it, it's been a great success. Although that's worked, they want to come back and bring this licensing. And some of it is other issues, like there's issues around McMaster University and Mohawk College. So some of the people actually want to reduce the number of students in a given area, which is totally unreasonable for them to try and do. It's sort of a backdoor way of doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And the cost factor, Hamilton is affordable right now in rents compared to other areas, but if they bring this in, it's not going to be affordable anymore, and there's going to be more and more people who fall into poverty and start having to use the food banks and so on.
So your thinking is a licensing fee comes in for the landlords, they just increase their rents over time to cover this licensing fee, so it gets trickled down to the tenants.
It has to. I mean, nobody's going to go out and get a second job to pay a licensing fee on their rental property. It has to come from the tenants. Whether it comes immediately or whether it comes 6 months or a year down the road, there's nowhere else for that money to come from.
So is Hamilton just not enforcing, because there's existing bylaws around properties in Hamilton? Could they just be better enforcing those bylaws, I guess?
Yes, if they'd enforced these bylaws over the past bunch of years, we wouldn't be in the situation where we are right now. They've been negligent and not enforced their bylaws. And let me make it clear, they're not suggesting any new standards. All they're suggesting is the standards that they currently have under the existing bylaws, and they just want licensing and use that as a mechanism for enforcing them, and it's totally unnecessary.
And I'm just thinking, one of the obvious things that bothers me about the licensing is that people, as part of our business, we've been bringing a lot of people to Hamilton that have never invested in Hamilton, and if a licensing fee gets thrown in on some properties, it'll just steer some of those investment dollars that would naturally land in Hamilton elsewhere. And to us, that's a shame, because Hamilton has been such a great city that to bring this kind of little negative connotation around investing in Hamilton really can hurt the city in a bigger impact than I think they realize.
It will. The impact will be huge. Hamilton has been considered the #1 spot to invest right now, and that is because the properties are available at reasonable prices. You can make a reasonable return on them. But this fee will not only add to the cost, but also to the perception. People will say, why should I go and buy a property in Hamilton when I don't need to do the licensing if I'm in Burlington or if I'm in Brantford? It really will set the city back and set it apart as a place for investors not to go to.
Okay, so I know you guys have put a really great report together on your website. I'm going to share the URL in a second, where anyone interested in this can kind of go through the report in detail, because you've broken down the proposed licensing legislation and then kind of your response to it in a beautiful report, point by point. Correct?
Thank you. We worked very hard on that, and I hope we get our point across well.
Yeah, it came out really nicely. So we'll share your URL in 1 second for that. And then I know on December 11th?
December the 11th at 1 o'clock at Hamilton City Hall, there's going to be a meeting of the Planning Committee, and at that time we will have an opportunity to make presentations. And we really hope that a lot of people who are interested in this subject will come out, because the more people we have, the more likelihood we have of stopping this from coming in. We need hundreds of people to show up. We need to swamp the room. We need to make them feel that there are a lot of people who are so concerned with this that they need to think about it again and take some other path.
Well, I know Nick and I are planning to go, and a whole bunch of people from our team are planning to go. And hopefully, I guess whoever's speaking at that time can make some really good, articulate responses. Otherwise, I can start swinging around a crutch, but that's not the approach that we want to take at these meetings, right? But,
no, I think we have the arguments as long as we present our arguments. And we've sort of looked at all the points they've made. They've talked in general about safety, but there's no improvements in safety standards. They've talked about various other things that are not really relevant. But I think our report is very relevant and gets right to the points and addresses all their concerns. So, if people come, they've read the report, they can make comments and add to the discussion. That'll be fantastic.
Great. Okay, so underneath this video somewhere, we're going to have a big link to where you can go online to sign the petition against this licensing fee. And, there's a lot of talk on do the counselors really pay attention to these petitions or not. At this point, we don't care. We strongly want as many names on this petition as possible. So if you can take the next 60 seconds to go and click on the link underneath this video and sign that petition that you're against this licensing, if that's really what you believe and you agree with us, if we don't want to force you to do it, but if you believe as an investor that's what you should be doing, we really encourage you to click on the link, spend the next 60 seconds to sign in. I think you can sign in with your Google account, your Facebook account, or you can register and complete that. That would be greatly appreciated. I think for anyone listening to this, that's probably the best thing they could do right now.
That's the first thing they can do. Read the report, sign the petition, and then if at all possible, show up. Or write a letter or an email to your councillor, to the mayor, or to a letter to the editor. We've done all of these to some extent, and we're setting up meetings with all the councillors individually. So, the more people that contact their councillor, the more effect we will have. And those councillors know that if one person contacts them, there's 50 other people thinking the same thing. So it really does show a lot of interest if a bunch of people contact them.
And so thanks, Aaron, for that. And if you're interested in learning more about the Hamilton District Apartment Association, it's really inexpensive to become a member. They have great monthly or bi-monthly meetings kind of on a regular basis. They have these newsletters that they send out. If you want more information on Aaron's organization, you can go to hamiltonapartmentassociation.ca. So that's a hamiltonapartmentassociation.ca to find more information. They can get everything there, correct?
They can.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
No, Aaron, thanks for coming out to the Rockstar office here. We greatly appreciate it. Thanks for sharing this information. And again, if you're listening to this, if you can go right now, click on that link and sign that petition, that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.